Hey guys, what I thought we'd go over today is tools carried on the KLR. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so diving right in, this is a Maxpedition bag. Did a review on it a long time ago. I do reviews on that type of gear all the time. Obviously super heavy, zippers, everything. This thing's been bouncing around for years now, and this thing is holding true. I'll find the video and put a link up there. I don't recall if I went over exactly what I was carrying at the time, but if you think of this as like an EDC dump, like a pocket dump, so there's tons of EDC videos on YouTube about what you carry in your pockets. This is a snapshot in time of what I carry for the tools. I try to get something that's not quite typical KLR full-size tools. Some of those people really carry a lot of equipment. I try to find small equipment, things that had multiple purposes, and things that could easily get me out of a jam, whether I'm way off in the middle of Eastern Oregon or the middle of Mongolia. So without further ado, again, this is a nice square factor instead of like a tool roll. And again, that may change over the years. I did bring a scale because I'm kind of curious myself how much I'm getting into this. So main tool compartment, 5 pounds, 1 ounce. So 5 pounds basically for all this crap. And let's just dive right in. It's somewhat organized and it's somewhat not. Some of it's been just squeezed in there, and again, some of it will be ever changing. A little bit of safety wire, never a bad thing to carry. Something for super high quality small tools. These are fairly expensive, so you get away with cheaper options. But these Nipex, they're a German brand, I believe. They are terrific. I've used the small one. It's really hard, even though this gets quite large. Nice push button there. It gets quite large, but obviously you don't have quite as much grip with the handles to really torque down like an axle or anything. But believe it or not, with this guy, you really do. And I've been tempted to get rid of my crescent wrench and just go with those, but those are a nice feature to have. Diving into the sort of Craftsman series, I used to have a little magnetic tripod that I carried with me, and so you lose bolts and things down inside like your skid plate, and they're nearly impossible to get to. I've lost some of those little expandable ones. They've since broke. I was trying to get something that you could put on a tool that would create a magnetic tool, but this was a Lowe's thing, and it's pretty weak. It's not great, so I don't know if I'll keep it or not. It doesn't really fit on here very well. But this guy, one of my favorite things to actually carry in here, instead of a standard screwdriver, which you're going to see in a lot of people's tool kits, this is a driver and an extension. So it's a 1/4-inch drive on the top, so I can run all my sockets that way super quick. You know, things like body work and stuff you need to get done super quick. You can add a ratchet to the end, so if you need to torque something down at the end, or you need to pop it loose and then get rid of this thing and then just spin it. I also have an adapter so I can run any 1/4-inch hex on the front. So, and with this basically creates a 6-inch extension, so you really need to get in deep there. And awesome tool. Don't know why most people don't carry anything like that. Again, this is Craftsman. You could find smaller things. It's a 1/4-inch drive, nothing too fancy there. I've limited myself to the sockets that I only use on the KLR, and then I've just cut down the little carrier that you buy with the actual socket set. So I have a kind of a socket carrier. They don't always stay on here. But we've got our standard 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And that pretty much covers most of them that I'm doing. You can tell by the wear, the 10 and the 8 get most of the work. I'm pretty sure I have one thing on there that's a 9, which is kind of annoying. But again, I do most of my work with my standard kit that I carry with me, so that makes it easy. A little baby 1/4-inch adapter, that's come in handy, or an extension, excuse me. Always carry a multi-tool. This happens to be the SOG. I dig the super fine tip on here. You really get into some tight spots. With this sort of power assist, it's able to break some pretty good things if you need to get through a fence or whatnot. Always need to have a multi-tool, even if you're carrying other pliers. There's a little adapter I was telling you about. So it's a 1/4-inch drive on the end, and it'll fit any 1/4-inch hex bit. So any of your standard screwdrivers, this guy becomes a screwdriver now, or a Phillips, or a flathead, or a Torx, or an Allen head, whatever you want to carry. Super handy. It really eliminates a lot of big things that you're going to carry. Didn't realize, I guess this was in here. Here's a number 10. These are really nice and handy, and I normally just keep them in the garage. Not sure how it ended up in my toolkit, but I must have been using it. I don't normally keep this with me, so that was good to find. But super nice, flexible ratcheting. I would love to carry a full set of these. It's just the weight of this type of thing is just a lot to carry on the trail. You're going to be stuck on the side of the road. You've got time to do it manually. It just might be a little bit annoying. Unfortunately, my KLR did not come with a KLR stock kit, so I had to go through and get one of these. It's just for spark plug wrenches, but it's quite heavy. It's not quite as light as the cheesy one that you get with your KLR. Down the road, I may want to do that, but again, stick an Allen wrench or a screwdriver through here and you've got your torque. This is also will come in handy. I've double checked to make sure this will take off the nut on my IMS giant 10-gallon tank if I have to service that pump in the field. We'll go over these here in a second. Small little plastic carriers. Any sort of your epoxy putty I like to keep, because all these tools are going to be bouncing around for thousands of miles. It's nice to keep your epoxy putty in something that's not going to get crushed, so you're able to use that when you need it to do any repairs on side cases. There's a couple random bolts in here, of course, that I was working on. This is basically a scraper and tire patch tool from Best Rest Products. Some of these guys that I've got in here is all Best Rest. They really have done their homework. Look up their gear if you're looking to get any sort of tools, tire equipment. They've really done their homework. So this is basically an agitator. You can scrape the rubber to get it good firm there. You've got a little roller so you can get all the air bubbles out. This is key, and I even carry one of these on the ship when I'm doing repairs to Hypalon on the Zodiacs. It's flawless, and I think it's a must-have. It's KLR, so you're going to need Loctite. Now, I've had too many little Loctite tubes get crushed and explode all over my tools over the years. So, unfortunately, I can't get this locally. I have to pick this up on Amazon. But this is a Loctite stick. This is the red stuff. Why not go for the full high strength? But it's like a gel, so it can never get crushed and leak all over your stuff. I'm sure it's happened to you if you've got any sort of adventure like that. Again, Best Rest Products. Now, these two I could definitely skip. These are for tire plugs for a tubeless system, BMWs, any of your big adventure bikes. But you know what? I ride with other guys. They don't always carry the tools. I have cut down the handles, as you can see, and kind of rounded them off. There's still plenty. You can get them in your palm and really kind of push off your palm. You don't need the handles that long anyway, so you can really kind of work and get that plug in there. You can ream out the hole. It works great. They don't weigh that much, and so I've decided to carry them with some tubeless repairs just in case I can help someone else on the trail. Tiny little Countycom titanium, I think it was. It's a little crowbar. It really comes in handy more times than I thought it ever would, so it's become a part of my kit. In here, probably don't need it, but the angle on here does help. It's an adjustment tool for my Cogent rear suspension. I can adjust it with the luggage for the preload on the spring. Probably don't need it, but it's always been carried with it. Standard, I went and spent a little bit more money and got the really nice sort of multi-angle ends. I don't know what you guys call it, but kind of your standard from your 8s all the way down to your standard sizes, and we'll go over more of what we're carrying with some of these here, and I'll put a description down below of all that stuff. And these are kind of more of the same, only these are 1/4-inch drive. Now this is a little bit extra redundancy. I could definitely save some weight if I'm doing a around the world trip, but they do come in handy to be able to ratchet things. I may ditch these because they are a little bit extra weight that I don't necessarily need. A drill bit. I'm not sure. I ended up needing something. It's a 1/4-inch drive at the end, so I can literally stick this on here and drill through some plastic if I need to actually add some zip ties or attach things. It's handy to have a small drill bit with you at all times. That's pretty much from the main compartment here. Diving into the back section. A little bit of synthetic scrubber pads and some sandpaper. Again, if you really need to, if you've got a buddy that cracked his case, you need to prep that really well, or the best JB Weld in the world won't adhere. There's a little zippered compartment back here. This is where I keep a lot of the tire patches and a few other things. Let's get that stuff out of there. So, a couple little spare wires, obviously, if you have an electrical issue. There's the rest of my bits, screwdriver bits. It'll fit on the wrench. This is a spare something for my sprocket. Really nice. Again, high quality patches. don't cheap out and get the little slime ones. We've literally done this, and you take all the time in the world, take your tire off, find your leak, put your patch on, put a cheap slime patch on there, and 10 miles down the road, you've got to do it all again. And you're pissed, you're angry, it's hot, it's middle of summer, it's 95 degrees, everyone's sweating their jackets off. Buy good patches, go to Best Rest, get their little kit. You won't regret it. And again, these are for the tubeless ones for sticking in the tires there. Because I run an IMS 10-gallon tank, it does have a vacuum lifter pump in it, and every once in a while the little lifter baffle goes bad, so I carry a couple extra in there. Obviously, so I'm in the middle of nowhere. That can be solved. A couple master links for your chain, and I believe this is just O-ring for oil changes that I just happen to keep in here anyway. These are some Eagle Mic retainers. We'll do a separate video on the sprocket situation with the KLR in a different video. These guys are little sort of organizers, plastic. In here are just quick electric connectors. This one, I've got a bunch of cotter pins for the rear tire. Every time you pull that off, sometimes your cotter pin breaks. I've got some small blade type fuses. I've got a couple wire nuts that will attach to cables. If you break your throttle cable, you're able to use either other cables or just shorten it. And then big boy fuses in here. It's probably more than I need, but again, I've got a couple big fuses in there for some of my electronics. That has been what I carry for the tool tube. We're going to go over kind of an addendum to this, and we'll go over what I carry in the tool tube underneath the bike and what I carry as sort of a auxiliary one. Just a couple of extra items that for some reason I usually just carry in the bag. So thanks guys for watching. Have any questions, any suggestions? You may hold off until you watch the addendum video, which I'll make just a part 2, and we'll put it up at the same time so you guys can watch the complete series. But we're already at 12 minutes, so we're going to do that in a separate video. Thanks for watching, guys.